hands. Is that really what the world has come to? I mean, is that how much there is a lack of just normal, non sexual communication between two genders that we faint when we see somebody from the opposite gender? Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Onushua, and let's get started with today's video. So I just wanted to talk about something that was very important to me while growing up, and was a part of my school life, which was not education. Okay, so education is basically why we are all sent to school, and as the average Indian millennial, as I am, and belonging to this very average bracket of young people who belong to this country, I'd like to say that co-curriculars are something that really helped me find my own ground and understand a little more about who I am as a person and what my skills are. And I was never a very academically bent person. I did love my school, I loved my education, I had my favorite subjects and least favorite subjects. So, today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why co-curriculars are an extremely important part of your academic life or while you're in school. And it's often undersold. Definitely your parents are not going to like me doing this video or telling you what you should be doing also other than studying, but I think it's extremely important because I got some crazy life lessons that I've learned purely from co-curricular activities which education failed to teach me. Okay, maybe it's just me, but I think a lot of people out there could relate to this or being in this situation. So the first point that I learned massively because of the co-curricular activities or extracurricular activities that I took in was to be brave. Okay, courage. Okay, nobody can teach you to be brave. It is by example that you learn to be brave. Okay, being in front of people or taking part in a fest or taking part in an intra-school or an inter-house competition or even making a speech during Independence Day or any of these things, it teaches you to have more confidence, and it sort of reduces your stage fright. Now I'm doing this in front of a camera, but if I was doing this in front of a stage full of people, you would not have seen it, but I would be experiencing a mild panic attack and my hands would be shaking continuously. But it's taught me a lot about fighting that internal fear you have. See, people will judge you whether you do something or whether you don't. I believe that it's better to be judged after doing something than to be judged to be somebody who does nothing at all. So the first lesson that I got from co-curriculars was to combat stage fright and be brave. It takes a lot of effort also to go on stage in front of a whole audience of people you don't know and make a good speech. Okay. So the second point, which is I think a big skill I've learned from co-curricular activities, is understanding people, right? So as a kid you have very limited exposure to new people or strangers. We are actively discouraged from interacting with people we don't know or traveling with strangers. What extracurricular activities does is that it puts you in a completely new situation, right? So meeting new people, debating with them, knowing that it's okay to have an argument with somebody without winning is a huge deal. It teaches you how to talk to different kinds of people. If you go to a different school to experience a fest, what it also does is it teaches you the culture of another school, or another school which might be a co-educational school or a boys school or a girls school or a Catholic school or a missionary school or a Hindu school or a Muslim school. It teaches you so much about another school's culture, what kind of rules and regulations they follow. The third thing which sort of comes down from the second point, which is a big help I got from co-curriculars while growing up, was healthy competition. Right, so we are very in today's day and age. We go to history and we read about wars. Right, we read about the World War, we read about the Cold War, we read about the War for Independence. These are serious wars, okay? But competition, which you watch on TV, such as sports, is a very interesting thing. So you need to be learning what it is like to be a true competitor. Okay, or healthy competition is extremely important because anytime you have a contest, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser, and both go away taking different learnings in life. whether it be just having a serious debate topic which is being argued, like for example, should schools have uniforms? We know that the school's not going to change their rules and suddenly go in favor of the motion and change uniforms or remove them altogether. But the hypotheticalness or the hypothetics of this whole situation, the fact that it's not real, gives you a great perspective into competing, right? We used to have something called MUNs back in our day, which were not so just socializing events back then. It would teach you to think from a country's perspective or foreign policy perspective. So you wouldn't always be Indian, right? Sometimes you'd be Cuban, sometimes you'd be Pakistani, sometimes you'd be from Israel, sometimes you'd be from the UK, and you'd be learning so much about that particular country's foreign policy and also putting your individual self out of the equation and learning to debate for the sake of healthy competition, for the sake of healthy debating. So, and leave hopefully with a bunch of new friends who can also be great debaters that you can take a lesson from for the next contest. So, you might lose one, but you win if you keep going at it, if you keep going at least for the participation trophy to get the experience. It's extremely, extremely important. So, I think I'll go to the fourth point. It's so important, especially if you come from a single gender school. Suppose like I came from a girls school and the education system is so different for a co-educational school versus a girls school or a boys school, is that a huge thing I learned from fests or co-curriculars is meeting the opposite sex. So just yesterday I was reading a newspaper article about how a young man in Bihar fainted during his board exams because he was seated next to a girl in a room of 500 women and he had never seen a woman before, and he fainted and he missed his exam. That's really, really messed up. So I feel like meeting people of the opposite sex as just peers, okay, as competition, as people you need to beat to win the trophy is a different kind of experience altogether. It teaches you to treat people as individuals and not as the gender that they belong to, or the sexual orientation or preference that they belong to. It's all about contest. It doesn't matter whether you're a boy, it doesn't matter whether you're a girl, it doesn't matter if they're your ex or potential boyfriend, okay. You're going to be in a healthy competitive environment talking to people of the other gender for a very common cause, which is a contest. And the last point, which I think is extremely important, which I learned a lot from co-curricular activities, is just self-worth and self-esteem, right? So I was not a very confident person, not that I'm very confident right now, but like I'm at least a little better off. So it gave me a sense of purpose, it gave me a sense of identity to be able to participate in the silliest contests, from doing a random ad skit to being pretending to be a politician and debating about foreign policy, to getting a topic at a ham which would be as lame as things not to do in the backseat of a car. So fest can be really fun, right? But even just going on stage and representing your school or representing your house or representing just what you believe in is so important, because I mean all of us will not have the chance to go and nationally represent our country. So that tag we might not get in this lifetime. Okay, a lot of people will, and kudos to them. Please don't lose hope. But for those who don't, these are great ways of just self gratification, learning a little more about yourself. Maybe you'll not win something in the first turn, maybe not the second, but coming back home with a certificate with your name written on it is a huge matter of pride. Coming back with home with a medal is a even more it's a greater moment of self worth. So it's a great way of understanding yourself, seeing where you stand compared to your peers, understanding how people your age think. So to quickly go down on 5 lessons I learned doing co-curriculars while in school. The first was confidence, okay, which is coping with your stage fright, okay, it's a biggie. The second is understanding people outside your school, people who are outside your comfort zone, learning more about cultures and the way other people work and not living in your own bubble. The third is healthy competition, learning that competing with people and losing is okay, and still shaking hands with them at the end of a sports game goes a very long way. The fourth point is meeting people of the opposite gender. It's not a mixer, but at least it's a way of getting comfortable with people, making more friends of the opposite gender, which I feel is how the world is headed. Nobody cares what gender you are till a certain stage. Like I hope they never do when they're offering you a job or trying to give you a competitive package. It's about how you present yourself. So which brings me to the last point, which is self-worth, which is a huge, huge, huge learning that comes to me and a lot of other people from co-curricular activities. So till next time, just keep trying out different things. You never know what you will be good at. Don't be afraid of experimenting, and remember that everyone's weird in a unique way, and everyone's unique in a little bit of a weird way. So thanks. Bye. See ya.